Good afternoon, ECJs. My name's Joe, and before I start, I'd like to thank Viv for the hangover that I currently have. Thanks very much, Viv, and I hope you had a great birthday. Back in the 1920s, when I was at school, literacy was a largely fixed, individualistic and psychological ability. This was a text, and multi-literacies were this. Now, the 21st century seems to have changed all that. Chris Walsh tells me that almost anything which can be interpreted is now text. Magazines, pictures, music, even my clothes. I'm sick. Am I sick? Or am I sick? I don't know. Anyway, so how as a teacher do we go about dealing with this and bring it into the classroom? Multi-literacies have evolved as a response to the rapidly changing world we live in. And it's the teacher's role to prepare students for the future. We already live in a world with the internet, with mobile phones, with iPods, and all this advertising that's very clever and it actually targets the kids. It's an interesting thing. And outside of school, kids are immersed in all these forms of literacy, more than they are so with books, I think. And it's the responsibility for any modern day teacher to understand that different types of texts are being used for different purposes and provide students with the basic skills and strategies to critically interpret these texts. No text is neutral, as Chris said, but I think that's pretty well known. Like going back to a couple of weeks ago, we watched that video in class about eating meat, and like it was a pretty good argument. It made me really want to eat a lot of meat, and then we saw the Mootrix, and I had these weird feelings. I wasn't sure what to do. Like, do I eat the meat? Do I not? They're both telling me different things, and they're both putting such a good argument together. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. I believe it's important for children to practice and develop traditional parts of literacy. You know, the traditional text-based stuff. But it's only part of what's needed these days. In 20 years, like in whatever, 2027, how many people are going to pick up books off the bookshelf and take them to bed to read? I'm not sure. It's probably going to be all virtual books. So we need to be able to be teaching different things in the classroom. Students these days need to learn how to effectively use search engines such as Google to find information that they're looking for. Microsoft Word and predictive text on mobile phones. Which I'm recording on at the moment. I was going to show you my phone. It's a terrific way of improving kids' spelling. Like in a recent grade year 1-2 classroom that I was in, we were working on the computers doing a mini-beast project, and one of the kids put his hand up and said that the word butterfly that he'd spelt, there were a few letters incorrect, had this big red squiggly line underneath it, and no matter how many times he pressed delete, it wouldn't disappear. And I decided to let him in on the little secret, which was that generally when there's a little red line under a word, it means that there's something slightly wrong with the spelling. And the kid looked at the word again and made 1 or 2 changes and spelled it correctly. The line disappeared. He was so happy. Like, I think it's good. I mean, kids don't want that squiggly line under there. Predictive text on the phones. Maybe phones aren't used for the really young years, but it's awesome. You can't even type the word unless you spell it right. It just won't let you. Although that opens up a whole new can of worms with the text language, which I'm only just getting my head round. Remember that I was in school in the 1920s, so I'm quite old. When I went to a local discotheque the other day, everyone was dancing around to this tune, which the lyrics seem to go, "I like big butts and I can't deny," something like that, and it was quite a catchy tune. So I sent my friend. I was missing them, so I sent them a text, and it said this: "Good evening, Alicia. I'm having a very pleasant evening and having a dance and a beverage at my local social tavern. I like big butts and I can't deny." Now, that text took me about 25 minutes to write, and within seconds I got a reply. And the reply was this. I'll show you, but I'll also read it out. Okay. It says this: WTF, question mark, all in capital letters. You FKD sir, forgot your out. This word, out, I understand. Be back. Be for 10 tomorrow, cause your mate meet. What's this? What on earth is that? Like, kids are living in this mobile texting world, and it's not traditionally grammatically correct, but it's a literacy that they need to learn. So that they can live and operate in this world that we're that's so changing. So I think this kind of stuff needs to be taught in schools. I think combining different forms of literacy in a classroom is an excellent way of doing it. Getting people to write a story prose version of that, well, maybe not using some of those words, but a nicer version, and then getting them to translate that into text, SMS texting language as well. I don't know. Music, it's another huge area. Kids listen to songs about liking big butts and Eminem wanting to chop up his wife with a chainsaw and all that kind of stuff, and clearly not very neutral text either. I think that kind of stuff has to be spoken about in class as well, so kids understand that the meaning of songs is different to other forms of text if they were reading about it in a book or something like that. Look, there's loads of stuff. The advertising, but to be honest, I have got a bit of a hangover, and I think I'll stop. There's plenty more of these that'll go up on the web by other people. So have a good one.